You knocked your camera over.
Welcome back to the garage. Last week I started working on the front suspension with my father-in-law and we got pretty far. I guess we got the A-arms in. So this video is going to basically be going over that, and today I'm going to try to get the other side suspension in. You will notice that I actually did kind of mute our conversations just out of respect for the privacy of my father-in-law and I. It's gonna be some extra music, I suppose, that we can enjoy. Cool, yeah, so let's just get back into it. So last week I noticed that I was missing two of the bolts, these bolts, from my old setup. And I don't know exactly where they are. I looked everywhere. I thought I had them in a bag, or I thought I left them on the spindles, but I didn't. So I ended up buying some new ones from LMR, so I'm going to be putting these in as well. So I'll do that first. little bit more we have to do. I have to clock this a little bit, which involves loosening it up from the top. That's clocked correctly. This was the clocking that I need to do. This has to be, this was kind of like up on top of here. We'll adjust the height when it's around. You okay, buddy? Wow. Oh no! I've already destroyed my camera. The back screen got messed up. That's good. I'm gonna have to torque these down though, because these are moving a little bit. Dropped my GoPro and I got a little bit of a crack there. So I just want to see if maybe I got lucky. Oh my god. Oh my god, this was the greatest, this is the best investment. I can't even tell you. Look at that. There's not even a scratch. I'm gonna link that in the description if you want to buy one for your own. You know what else is amazing? This kit came with 2. I'm gonna install this immediately. I'm not gonna lie, this GoPro has taken a beating and it's gotten a lot of paint on it. Back in action. Alright, so I wrote down some torque specs. The outer 3 big ones are 65 foot-pounds, the little guys are 27 foot-pounds. Alright, a couple more torque specs. This is the spindle. This is the coil over the top. What? Are you pixelating this? It's just the suspension. 50 to 75, 140 to 200, and 100. How am I supposed to do this like this? No way. Can't do it. This is a 7mm for this little Zark fitting. Cool. Right here. the Zerk fitting that UPR sent me. I'm not sure if you can full focus on this. You can kind of see that it doesn't go in right. The threads are a little jacked. Now if you look at the normal Mustang, this is the control arm. That's the wheel. Then the steering rack, we'll just go like that. And then that connects to that. And then here's the other control arm. Here's the wheel. Here's the tie rod. When you lower the car, this angle flattens out. Flat control arms. Steering rack. And now your tie rods are going upwards. This leads to bump steer. So the idea is you put in offset steering rack bushing. Offset steering rack bushings to lift this up. So if this is like that, like this, that's gonna get pixelated, isn't it? And then the steering rack moves up a little bit, and then that leaves you with flat steering. Now let's look at that in practice. This is the steering rack. Well, here's a good example. This is a stock steering rack bushing that the rebuilders didn't take out. So you see how it's flat like that. So by pushing it like this, it lifts the rack upwards. One other thing to note about this is that this is a steering rack from a 2003 Mustang GT. The reason why is because the newer model, a variable rate valving. This one has a cotter pin. There's supposed to be a jam nut on this. Alright, so we can't hook this up completely yet because we're gonna have to take these off and put the jam nut on. Let's see if we can get these in. Alright. That one's going in. Alright, so it seems like, so if you look inside you can see that it's kind of like bunching up. I think the reason why is because these were built for a stock sleeve, which is slightly less toleranced than the UPR K-member has. So I'm going to try to find a drill bit just to take like 1/1000th out of this, out of both of these, so that they'll fit a little bit better on that right side. Alright, slightly different approach. Put these on first. Alright, so it's fully seated in there, fully seated in the front, there, over there. Just to give a quick idea how this is supposed to work. Okay, that's a problem. Till we get to the bottom of this. That's hot rodding, right? Yeah, I think we got to the bottom. And it didn't even line up. Might have to cut some of this off. And then this is supposed to go in here, and that controls your steering. Okay, well, interesting. Alright, so we're a bit of an impasse in the front. We'll figure it out. Alright, well, I'm kind of exhausted, but we did manage to get the front suspension in, as well as the steering rack. Looks like I'm going to have to kind of look into Fox outer tie rod in. That said, I'm glad it's it's all in there, because that was a bit of a nightmare squeezing those on. So next episode, maybe I'll be finishing up the steering and then starting to work on. Got to get that rear suspension in so I can put the rear axle in. Cool. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Wow, that hurt. Okay, yeah. Alright, never doing that again. That's for damn sure.